Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with a very special archetype video. I will be going over the Ghostricks. The Ghostricks are pretty much monsters based off of the Halloween and very spooky folklore that has been around the world for years and years and years. We're going to be going through that in the forms of these monsters, as well as talking about their unique and special gimmicks. The Ghostricks, for the most part, were released in Shadow Specters of 2013. This archetype is literally now 6 years old. At the time of this recording, they will be they will be 6 years in October. For that was the release in the TCG. They are 6 years in the OCG at the time of this recording, due to the OCG always being about 3 or 4 months ahead of us in terms of main sets. Now, the Ghostricks, for the most part, are in a range from rank 1 to 4 and levels 1 through 3. There are no level 4s at the time of this recording, and I do believe the TCG is only missing out on one particular card. I think it's called Ghostrick Nightmare. But we don't currently have that card yet. But we are waiting if it does. If it is out, I honestly don't have it, so I do apologize if it's missing the time of this recording. It happens. But the Ghostrick Monsters in the main deck have one unique gimmick about them. That is, they cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghostrick card. Funny enough, when they were first released, they were called, they were called Ghostrick. The gimmick of them was that in their text it said this monster cannot be normal summoned. However, this card can still be normal. This still can be set. That was actually removed just on the basis of, okay, if it said that this monster cannot be normal summoned, it can still follow the properties of being special summoned, being placed on the field. It was a very unique gimmick to the Ghostricks. As well, they all have a unique ability in the main deck that they can flip themselves face down once per turn. So that is also a bit of a spook and boo type of situation when it comes to their Hallows Eve roots, of the fact that they're playing tricks on you. And that's what you get a lot out of their spells and traps as well, is that they're playing massive tricks on you, or playing massive tricks on each other. So without further ado, I don't want to get this video too long. Let's actually go into the Ghostricks themselves. I'm going to start off with the Ghostrick Monsters. We're going to start off with the first of the level 3s, and that is Ghostrick Ghoul, Ghostrick Stein, and Ghostrick Gyeonshi. Ghostrick Gyeonshi actually has some history in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's another monster called Master Gyeonshi, which is actually still the same name, but actually spelled out from the translation. Ghostrick Gyeonshi is based off of a zombie in the myth lore of the Gyeonshi, where they are being stunned by talisman, but they are under the possession of an evil spirit, or they have lost their souls and they are under an evil spirit. Ghostrick Gyeonshi's ability is that when his card is flipped face up, you can search your deck for one Ghostrick monster equal to the number of whose level is equal to or less than the number of Ghostrick monsters you control face up on the field. You only use that effect of Ghostrick Gyeonshi once per turn. Ghostrick Stein, the next level 3 monster. This monster is based off of Frankenstein's creation, Frankenstein. Or Dr. Frankenstein's creation, Frankenstein. Ghostrick Stein has the ability that when this card inflicts damage to your opponent, search your deck for one spell or trap card with one Ghostrick spell or trap card, and add that card to your hand. You only use that effect of Ghostrick Stein once a turn. Then we have Ghostrick Ghoul, who also is a level 3 monster. Ghostrick Ghoul's abilities is that Ghostrick Ghoul can target one Ghostrick monster that's on your side of the field. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent, the monster that you target with this effect, gains attack equal to the combined current attack of all face-up Ghostrick monsters on the field. But that monster is the only one who can attack, and you only use this effect of Ghostrick Ghoul once per turn. So, those are, of course, the first 3 Ghostrick monsters. A little fun fact before I move on: Ghostrick Ghoul was the first TCG exclusive Ghostrick monster, and he was also the sneak peek card for Shadow Specters, which was the set that Ghostrick started coming out in. We move on to the next set of Ghostrick monsters in the forms of Ghostrick Mummy, Ghostrick Skeleton, and Ghostrick Yeti. And we also have one more monster in the form of Ghostrick Werewolf. So actually what I'll do is start off with the first two, Ghostrick Mummy, Ghostrick Skeleton. Then I'll go on to Werewolf and Yeti. So Ghostrick Mummy is based off of a mummy, which we all know is the manifestation of a person who was mummified in Egypt. Well, the Egyptian lore of a mummy is a zombie, but it's more so a person's body who has been through the mummification process. And now he's alive. Ghostrick Skeleton is based off of two spectrals. One is the skeleton, which of course we all know is a very spooky creature that's resurrected through magic, or just, someone's, insides and their bones. The other thing is that it is also based off the Reaper because it has a scythe in its hand. Ghostrick Skeleton's ability is that when this card is flipped face up, banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck based on the number of Ghostrick monsters you control. You only use the effect of this monster once per turn. Ghostrick Mummy, while this card is face up on the field, you get an additional normal summon of a Ghostrick monster that turn, but you can only special summon dark type monsters for the rest of the turn after using this effect. So that is the effects of Ghostrick Skeleton and Ghostrick Mummy. We move on to the last level 3s, Yeti and Werewolf. Ghostrick Yeti is another monster based off of the folklore of a Yeti, which is a snow creature that lives in the mountains. Why Ghostrick Werewolf is based off of an actual werewolf. Ghostrick Werewolf's effect is that when flipped face up, inflict 100 points of damage to your opponent for each face down card on the field. You only use this effect of werewolf once a turn. Ghostrick Yeti has the ability to select one Ghostrick monster you control. Until the end of this turn, the monster that you selected cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So that is Yeti and Werewolf. Now we move on to the level 2s. These are all of the spellcasters. We're going to start off with Ghosttrick Nekomatsume and Ghostrick Witch. Ghostrick Witch, of course, is based off of the Witch, and Ghostrick Nekomatsume is based off of the shape-shifting cat girls. They have the ability to go from cat to woman or girl, or just in general, any shape-shifting cat into human. Funny enough, I think the folklore is mainly around women, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And they lolly it like crazy. So, Ghostrick Witch's effect is once per turn, she can select one face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field and flip it face down. Ghostrick Nekomatsume says, when this is face up on the field, your opponent's level 4 or higher monsters, when no more special summon, get flipped face down. You must control a Ghostrick monster in order for this effect to activate and resolve. Those are two of the 4 Ghostrick level 2 monsters. We now move on to the last 2, which are Ghostrick Doll and Ghostrick Yukiona. Yukiona is the ice spirit. Her history is that she lures unsuspecting victims into the sheer cold, in that they are frozen to death due to a tragedy of, being a woman being lost or killed in the snow. Then her spirit living on, are haunting those that she sees to haunt. Pretty much a ghostly ice specter. Don't worry, she's not the only one. Ghostrick Doll is pretty much a doll that is possessed by a spirit or demon. Also, she has the very antiquity look of an antique doll. She has, the bonnet and, the little girl getup. That is very famous around those types of dolls. Ghostrick Doll's effect is that when flipped face up, during the end phase of the turn in which she is flipped, flip all monsters on the field face down. For each monster that's flipped face down, such summon one Ghostrick monster whose level is equal to or less than the total monster that were flipped by this card's effect. You only use this effect of Ghostrick Doll once a turn. Ghostrick Yukiona's effect is that if this card is destroyed by a battle, The monster that destroyed her is flipped face down and cannot change its battle position. So that is Ghostrick Doll and Ghostrick Yukiona. We now move on to the level 3s, and I want to start off with two of my favorites. That is Ghostrick Lantern and Ghostrick Spectre. Ghostrick Lantern is based off of course, a jack-o'-lantern. You can see it within the pumpkin head in the nice little lantern that he's holding. Then we have Ghostrick Spectre, who is literally based off of a ghost. Ghostrick Spectre's effect is that if a Ghostrick monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just summon this card from your hand and in face down to its position. When you do, draw one card. Ghostrick Lantern says if your opponent attacks you directly or attacks a face down monster you control, or I believe a Ghosttrick monster as well. No, when his card attacks, direct attack or attacks a Ghosttrick monster you control for an attack, you can negate that attack, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. So that is Lantern and Spectre, a great combination for hand traps for the battle phase, similar to battle faders and gores and stuff like that. Then the next two are Ghostrick Mary and Ghostrick Jack Frost. Funny story, Ghostrick Jack Frost does have an ultra form of himself. It was actually in the release of that year's 2013 Christmas calendar or year calendar that came out, and it had Jack Frost as an ultra. Ghostrick Jack Frost is based off, of course, the ice spirit Jack Frost. And Ghostrick Mary is based off of Bloody Mary, the spirit of the young woman within the mirror, who, if you called her name 3 times, she was to show up unexpectedly and kill her victim. Ghostrick Mary's effect is that if damage is dealt to you, you can discard this card from your hand to summon one Ghostrick monster and face down to this position. Ghostrick Jack Frost says if a monster attacks you directly, you can reveal this card from your hand, flip the monster face down, and summon this card face down. So that is both Jack Frost and Ghostrick Mary, and that's pretty much all of the monsters in the main deck for the Ghostricks. Now we move on to the extra deck monsters, and actually we'll start in an inverse, and we'll start with the level 1s. We'll start with the rank 1s and move on. So the first monster is rank 1 Ghostrick Dullahan. Dullahan's ability is that he gains 200 attack for each face-up Ghostrick monster on your side of the field. No, on the field. I think it's on your field. No, you can. Each Ghosttrick card you control. Once per turn, he can detach material from himself, select one monster your opponent controls, and have that monster's attack. You can use that effect of Ghostrick Dullahan once per turn. Dullahan's other ability is that if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. No, if this card is sent to the graveyard, not destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard. No, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Ghosttrick card from your deck to your hand. I mean, from your graveyard to your hand. Sorry, it's a recruiter. It's not a searcher. Funny enough, Ghostrick Dullahan is based off of 2 spooky characters. The first one, of course, is the Night Riding Dullahan, who is a creature that has no head but will fight to the death. And the other, of course, is the infamous Sleepy Hollow Spectre of the Headless Horseman. As you can tell, he is riding his horse into the night while he has no head. So that is Dullahan. Next up is Ghostrick So Cute Boss, based off of the Succubus monster. She, just like the other Ghostrick monsters, requires 2 generic monsters for her. So I should have mentioned that when I mentioned Ghostrick Dullahan. Her ability is that if this card is face up on your field while you control another Ghosttrick monster, she cannot be targeted for attacks. Once per turn, you can detach material from her to target one face up monster your opponent controls, whose attack is equal to or less than the combined total of all Ghosttrick monsters you control in the field, and destroy it. While that monster is destroyed, the zone that it occupies cannot be used, but you must control a Ghosttrick monster in order for her to have that effect continue and resolve. So that is the effects of the beautiful So Cute Boss, which is just a play on the word succubus. Then we have Ghostrick Alucard. This is the rank 3 Ghosttrick monster. While this card is face up on the field, your opponent cannot target face down cards or Ghostrick Monsters for attacks. This card can detach one material from himself to target one face down card your opponent controls and destroy it. If this card is summoned to the graveyard, you can add one Ghostrick card from your graveyard to your hand. Ghostrick Alucard, of course, is based off of Alucard, who is the son of Dracula. This is also one of the many creatures that is based off of the Castlevania series, which is a series that through gaming, if you know Konami, they have a ton of these games, and Alucard is one of their main guys. Also, of course, his name spelled backwards is Dracula, and it's the word Dracula, who he is also based off of. Next up is the last of the Ghostrick monsters. This is Ghostrick Angel of Mischief. In Japanese, she is known as Ghostrick Spoiled Angel. She is literally a fallen angel who has lost her way. Ghostrick Angel has some very unique abilities to her. She is the highest attack and defense Ghostrick monster in the game. She's the only fairy Ghostrick monster at the time of this recording. She just needs 2 level 4s for her monster, or you can use her ability, which is you can place her on top of a Ghostrick Exceed monster you control, and it is treated as an Exceed summon. Any material attached to that monster in itself will become material attached to her. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card to search your deck for a spell attack card with Ghostrick in its name and add it to your hand. Her other ability is that you can detach one material from this card to place one Ghostrick card in your hand onto her. If this card has 10 cards attached to it as material, you win the duel. So it is literally one of the big boss monsters for the Ghostrick archetype. We're going to move on to the spells and traps. And ironically enough, the Ghostrick spells are all field spells. Yeah, they have no generic spells outside of themselves. They do have to rely on a lot of other spells and traps for their own effects. But the field spells are amazing because they have all of the Ghostricks in them, and the more the game went on, the more cards were added. So, Ghosttrick Mansion is the first field spell. This card's effect says, actually, let me move these guys over so you can see all 3 of them. There we go. So, Ghosttrick Mansion's effect says monsters cannot attack face down resistant monsters, but can attack your opponent directly if all monsters your opponent control are face down. Any damage dealt by a battle or card effect that is not from a Ghosttrick is halved. So keep that in mind. Next up is Ghosttrick Parade. Monsters cannot attack face down position monsters, but can attack directly if all of your opponent's monsters are face down. Face down position monsters your opponent. Your opponent takes no damage. And when a Ghosttrick monster declares a direct attack, you can add one Ghosttrick card from your deck to your hand. Then the last card is Ghosttrick Museum. This is another field spell for them. While this card is face up on the field, your opponent controls. You can attack your opponent directly if all monsters they control are face down. You can attack directly if all monsters their opponent controls are face. Yeah, I just read that. I'm sorry. At the end of the damage step, change all monsters who inflict damage during that battle of the player's turn face down into defense position. So pretty much this works with face down position monsters. You have each of them have their own unique abilities based off of what's face up, what's face down, and then the whole thing about damage and everything. Personally, my favorite is of course Ghostrick Mansion, and each of them feature variations of the Ghostrick archetypes. Primarily just a lot of what's going on with the tricks and spooks of the Ghostricks. As we move on, let's go on to the trap cards, and not too many of them themselves. We'll start with the first 2, which is Ghostrick Scare and Ghostrick Vanish. Ghostrick Vanish's effect is that you reveal one Ghostrick monster in your hand. For the rest of this turn, face Ghostrick cards you control and face down defense position monsters you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effect. Ghostrick Scare says target any number of set monsters you control in defense position and change in the face up attack position. For the number of Ghostrick monsters you control that were flipped by this card's effect, flip that many number of monsters your opponent controls face down. Then we move on to Ghostrick Go Round and Ghostrick Knight. Ghostrick Knight, we'll go with Ghostrick Go Round. Pretty much it has 2 effects. The first effect is you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and one face-down position monster you control. Flip that monster face up, and if it's a Ghostrick monster, flip your opponent's monster face down. The other effect is an inverse, where if you control a face-up Ghostrick monster, you flip it face down, and if your opponent controls a face-down defense position monster, you flip it face up. Ghostrick Knight says, while you control a Ghostrick monster, your opponent cannot flip summon. If this card is destroyed by battle, it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to your graveyard, you take no damage from your opponent's next. No, your opponent cannot declare an attack. Cannot control a battle phase that turn. I'm sorry, it's been a minute since I've had to read Ghostrick Knight. Your opponent cannot declare attacks for the rest of the turn. So these are two of the big combination cards when it comes to battle position manipulation. And then the last trap card of the Ghostricks is the lovely Ghostrick Brick that I currently have or out at the time of this recording. When exactly one face-up Ghostrick monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target two Ghostrick monsters in your graveyard with different names that were destroyed from the destroyed monster and summon in face down position. So that is pretty much it for, everything Ghosttrick. I do hope you guys enjoy the little homage to my little spooks and kooks of Hallows Eve. I really do enjoy the Ghostricks, and I hope you guys do as well. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel about the Ghostricks. And hopefully they do get some support coming up soon in Link's Strange Pack 3. So, thank you guys so much for watching. It's CJ signing out. Take care.